Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Information Paradise podcast, episode 20. This is an excerpt from a 3.5-hour conversation that me and John Cole Russell, the author of Commotion to Consciousness, had in May of 2020. Unfortunately, I didn't understand then that Skype deletes recorded conversations after 30 days. Somehow, we have this excerpt. It's still full of great information, so enjoy.
To have ups and downs, and we need to understand that whatever phase we're in is not going to be how it is going to be forever. So for example, if it's normal actually for humans to have negative emotions sometimes for just a small part of their lives, and don't think that you're doing something wrong. Don't think that that you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, because after that low period, it's going to spike right back up. And then and what I've noticed on my self-improvement journey is the more I do self-improvement work, the lower or the quicker the down periods pass. So I still experience negative emotions. I still experience tough days. I still experience, tough weeks or whatever, but they won't be as intense because I'm always basically going towards the pain. And so I wrote about 6 of them. From these laws, the takeaway as far as how to conduct ourselves is whatever person we're showing up as in the world day to day is going to attract life experiences to us in the present moment, and it's also going to attract life experiences to us in the future when the future becomes our new present moment. And so we just got to be conscious of, whatever we're doing day to day is going to potentially affect our future, basically.
All right, we've passed 3 hours. It's been good. Social intelligence. We are a social animal, and
yes,
when we talk about social intelligence and that we are social animals, we are making a concession to the belief that we are separate humans. So in this section, we're going to help our fellow man to survive. All right.
Okay.
So what have you learned, with social intelligence? Why does it matter?
Okay. So this one is another huge one that is not really talked about as often as I believe it should be talked about. So the reason I went upon this journey of started reading books relating to social intelligence is because I always wondered why I found myself with negative, or not really negative, or they were negative, but negative friends and people who were always dragging me down. And I was wondering, why were all these people who I could tell were bad influences on me constantly becoming attracted to my life. And so what I found was there were many times where there were many moments in my life where I should have separated myself from those people, but I did not see the signs that they were not supposed to be in my life. And the thing that I wrote about the most that helped me distinguish the signs was I guess interpreting people's body language. And this was something that completely changed my life, because I don't really just use it with friends, but it helps me with a lot of situations. And so before I was completely clueless about body language. I wasn't reading about it at all. I wasn't I didn't know anything about it. But when I started reading about it, the thing that I learned the most was Body language is actually how people communicate more than words. And the reason that's important is because a person's body language will actually tell you a lot about how they truly feel, and most of the time, instead of the words that they use. And so, and that's not to say that you can't, rely on the words that people use, but you just got to be aware that sometimes people will say what they want you to hear instead of actually saying how they feel. And so what I started to learn was to just look for inconsistencies in people's body language with how they were, with the words that they were saying. So in other words, how this manifested in my day-to-day practical life was, when I was observing my friends, when I was talking with my friends, and or at the time they were my friends, when I was talking with my associates at the time, my friends, I was seeing that their body language was clearly showing that they had no interest in whatever was going on with my personal life. I wrote about it in the story. So there would be times when I would say something, for example, like I would say something along the lines of, guys, I think I'm really struggling with drug addiction. I may need help, whatever. And then I would see that they would say, they would say something like, it's all good, you can get through it. But they had such an uninterested look on their face. And that's just one example. But that in that moment, that could have been a sign that if this person is actually my friend, then they should have said more. They should have, showed some type of empathy. They should have showed some type of, some type of sympathy. But that's just one example. But it applies in all areas of life. And so you just want to, if somebody's saying something that doesn't really match their body language, then you just kind of want to think twice about it. And this is kind of useful with professors. This is useful with job situations. This is useful in dating. This is useful in a lot of situations. And you just want to really be able to figure out who the people are around you, because we will naturally absorb the habits of those around us. And so if we don't surround ourselves with, positive individuals who are trying to grow and who are trying to, at least better themselves, then we're going to just really attract whoever we settle for as friends and associates. And then we'll start to, and that can affect your whole life. Like if you don't ever question your friends, if you don't ever question who you're hanging out with on a daily basis, let's say you graduate college or whatever, and you're looking for a job. If you're with those same people, you might settle for a job that they wanted instead of going to the next level and doing something that you wanted to do. So this is an essential thing that I also talked about a lot of 4 principles of human nature, or I think it was 3 or 4. And this was kind of cool to learn. Group conformity, self-centeredness, and people get envious. So group conformity. Basically what this means is people have a habit. Okay, so like you said, we're social creatures, right? And people have a habit of thinking the same way as the people in the group around them. But this can be dangerous when you never think for yourself. So in other words, you just need to always be able to think for yourself, even if you're in a group. Of course, we're going to have to form groups with other people, but we just need to be able to think for ourselves instead of just unconsciously going along with what everybody else is doing. Self-centeredness. Because us as humans are living life in a subjective point of view, everybody, whether they want to admit it or not, goes throughout life doing things that are for their own self-interest. And I mean, I'm not sure if that's good or bad, but it's just the way that it is. And so what we need to be able to do is to just be able to recognize situations where someone is completely denying that aspect of themselves. So I talked about in the book, I actually wrote about this because I got scammed out of $1,000 one time because they got me with like an internet scam. They were saying like, give me they basically, the scam they got me with is super complicated, but they were trying to pretend that they were 100% selfless and that they were just giving me thousands of dollars for free. And I ended up losing $1,000 of my own money. But we just need to understand that people ultimately have their own self-interest in mind. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is to just be wary when somebody is trying to do, I guess, too much for you without asking for anything in return. And then the last thing is to just recognize the signs if somebody is envious. And because a lot of hate crimes people come from people who are envious. And I guess some of the signs can be just like if one of your friends is like, if gossiping about you behind your back, then that may not be a good candidate for a friend. And so I think that covers mostly everything for that.
Have you heard of RSD?
I've heard of, it's like a pickup community or something.
Yeah,
I think.
but I mean, it's a bit more, less crude now. It's like self-improvement.
Oh, gotcha.
But yeah, that's a great resource for people who are feeling a bit awkward socially. So let's talk a bit about the actual book, because it's a great book for, personally, the effects on me was taking meditation seriously. Now, when we take meditation seriously, that is really a game changer. So I appreciate your work there.
Thank you.
Have you got any other ideas for books or any other products? Any other ways to extol your knowledge?
You mean as far as like book recommendations or?
No, like
Me personally authoring books and stuff. Honestly, I have not thought about it yet. I think I probably will in the future, but I think I have to do. It'll probably be like at least 5 or 6 more years, just because I feel like I have to go on another hero's journey. Like I'm starting a whole new journey now. So maybe after 6 years I'll have more stuff to write about. But now I feel like I got most, like it's basically up until that was basically describing my life up until right before the release date. So I mean, not much has changed since February, except I'm just trying to do this new e-commerce thing.
So the next one I'll start at like a business thing.
Yeah.
Dude, how cool that'd be! Like you just have like your whole, it's like a discography, but like books. We have reached the end, and I think we have some great books in our mind to share. They're all going to be in the description. First one, top of the head, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Classic.
A classic book. There it is. Think and Grow Rich.
Classic
book.
I was actually going to say Think and Grow Rich for sure, but I just reread that the other day. One very powerful one is 48 Laws of Power, Robert Greene. Another one I like is The Secret. It just kind of opens my eyes to manifestation, even though that book is pretty vague. Another book I like is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle.
Yeah, that's a good book.
Goes deep into meditation and stuff, and also he wrote a sequel called A New Earth. That one's also a good book.
Steve Jobs, an autobiography. That's a great one.
I need to check that one out. What else do I like to read? Oh, The Power of the Subconscious Mind, Joseph Murphy. That's a good one. Conscious Language. That's a very powerful one. It's like kind of a low-key book, but talks about like how language affects our manifestation. Eat That Frog. That's a book about procrastination. Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules of Life. That's a good one. I'm trying to think about what's a good spiritual book. Oh, this is a great spiritual book. Awakening the Buddha Within. That's a good one.
Oh my god, I heard that. Yeah, never read that. The Bible's pretty good. Yeah, I've been reading.
Never read the Bible actually. Never
Yeah,
read the Bible.
that's like a life thing, like a bucket list thing.
I really do have to check that out.
1919 on the
Oh yeah, synchronicity.
friggin' spiritual. Woo! Well, I mean, it's been a great 3 hours and 21 minutes with you, my friend, John Cole Russell. And I've learned a lot. You know, we've learned a lot here. Any closing notes?
To try to embrace the counterintuitive nature of life and to try to move towards those uncomfortable situations because they will help us out in the long run, and to try to avoid the pleasure-seeking situations in the short run because they will mess us up in the long run. And I guess just to not beat ourselves up when we fall short from our goals, because since time is infinite, even though our bodies age, but I mean we have a long time in this realm to make our dreams manifest. So we have as many chances as we need to try again to get closer to our goals. So I think it's worth giving ourselves a shot.
Yeah, we got deep there in the second quarter, I'd say.
Yeah.
God, that was a legendary fucking moment. Yeah. Okay, man. Well, it was a pleasure. And it was a pleasure reading that book as well.
Thank you.
All of the relevant links in the description. Thank you, the listener, the viewer. There you go.